when you come to try to resolve those differences, you will always have people who will disagree with you. And so if disagreement makes it difficult to really come to a consensus as to what the way forward should be, I think that's what happened over the 14 years. We had a lot of people who agreed on where we should be headed, but we also had people who disagreed or had their own agenda, and that held us back for a long time. Uh, and someone asked whether there's a distinction between the Indigenous population and group from the United States. I mean, the long and short answer is yes. And history, I think, so pronounced anymore. But in the past, we had people not just from the United States that settled in Liberia, but from the West Indies and from other African countries. People who came from outside tended to be more educated. And when people are more educated, they tend to understand how to use the resources and how to use the opportunity. And even indigenous people in country who acquired education also became part of the group of people who had access to power and who had access to the resources. So what we have before earlier that would have to reflect everything disagreement actually became clarity because so we have the resources. That's basically what we are trying to fight for. And that's what we keep fighting in national Pacific. We keep ethnic differences when we have one ethnic group voting for the privilege of taking care of the food. And now you have it's not ethnic soup, but you still see some ethnic soup. Even people who are considered higher on the stratification now, they still take care of the food. So you have a mix of class differences as well as ethnic differences. And the ethnic differences we have now is not actually between American ethnic group or even those people from outside. We have ethnic differences with indigenous. We have indigenous against indigenous as well. Basically, it is a game of access to power. So it's a very, very complicated situation that we have in Liberia, but it is a situation that has evolved from ethnicity to class structure and now a mix of ethnicity, class, administration. And one question I had was from an old daughter was what drives the economic messages of one card that was and in certain other aspects of the society. What I mean that when you start speaking with audience and stuff, I think as a young kid, as a people who left people who live in ethnic groups right or wrong, who suffer psychologically. The other was psychosocial program. I thought we did have some services of that kind, but I think we should have, when you actually talking about, I think it is not to be invest a lot of psychosocial program because a lot of our military adults, a lot of young people, the parents would kill, an 8-year or 10-year-old. The parents are killed in front of me and he's getting an AK-47, he's getting a couple $100, and then he becomes a so this young person can actually live in society and function alone. So don't die with that. That's what makes it so difficult just for the war to and for the people to form the rule of law. That was very challenging. So you have a lot of things, all of our institutions, when you look to law enforcement, legal institutions, the educational system, everything was affected. So you see lawlessness permeate all of these institutions. And that's why we have corruption. We have corruption because corruption was given over corruption has become serious and more serious to the extent that it's become institutionalized. A lot of our young people sound, no, this is right, no, this is wrong, this is the behavior that person is right, this is what this is our clear by like whatever. You know, this is simple. Whatever person there's nothing wrong with taking this person. When we go back to civil society and reestablish the order, to read on the young people that grow up in an environment where these things are acceptable, let them go. When you come to civil society, it's not acceptable. Okay, they're ambivalent. Ambivalent means that when people should have those for what to do. So it's fair to the entire population that this behavior is wrong, and when it is behavior that has consequences. I have challenges myself, but that will be something so that these things that are required to be turned towards civil society establish the law, we can be responsible. So, and when that's not bad. So we're someone will come in and someone will not earn so at the end of the world, we have this entire, this huge population of young people who are delivering for similarly simply because we have no access to education. Most educated people find that once you go outside,
Your Excellency, it's what you're saying is really hitting home, you know, because these are some of the realities we will have to face uh, from war. What you are saying, we are already seeing in some of our smaller communities. The fact that young people are carrying guns, the fact that killing has almost become a normalcy for them, not amputating, mutilating bodies, the fact that they just live in the bushes, the fact that the institutions have collapsed in certain areas, they're just deserted, villages have been burnt. I think it's really a wake up for the reality and the task we have ahead of us, and we thank you. Doctor, we would before I hand over, before I give Dr. Edmond, I think he had his hand up. I was going to ask Your Excellency. You mentioned something about the mistakes you learned. One of them was the agreement. We hope this town hall is not enough time for us, but we hope that we can sit with Your Excellency and some of your um, colleagues who ironed out these agreements so that we can learn more in depth some of the mistakes that were made that came back to haunt you when you were putting the country together. But we would have that offline. The hand I see up now is Randolph McLean, and then we'll go to Dr. Edmond. Yes.
Oh, I thought I had my hand up.
It went down. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Then we'll come to.
Oh, okay, let it go. That's fine.
And also, it's also for lifetime.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Go ahead, Mr. McLean. Unmute yourself. Okay, there you go. Yes.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to make a few comments. And my comments are really short. I want to thank you for selecting as Attorney General, Minister of Justice, make this presentation. She is one of those that I would say would be among the best because I was there during some of those years, and to be frank with you, she not only lived it, she was completely in the system, and she would be one of the best persons. As you have heard, I think she did a very good presentation. So I just want to thank you for that selection.
You're very welcome, Mr. McLean. Thank you for endorsing the selection of Her Excellency. Thank you. So, Dr. Edmond, you have a question for Her Excellency?
Yes. I apologize to Mr. McLean. I didn't know that he was one of our guests. So, but I think Her Excellency, thank you very much for coming. I want to ask all conflicts are the same in some respects. And, the problems, therefore, some of the solutions may be similar. As one who has gone before us, if you were in our shoes as Ambazonians, what would be your advice, at this point? Seeing that you came in together to essentially try to fix some of the issues that were caused during the war. We're here at this time where we still have a chance, probably some events that some things that we do now may actually help us, seeking solutions, finding solutions to some of the very challenging problems that we have. And again, what are those things that you're telling Ambazonians or advising Ambazonians to do? That's number one. Number two is, now come the conflicts. Unlike the Liberian conflict where most of the protagonists inflicted violence on the people, unlike many of them were operating from home. As you probably might have heard when you were just at the beginning, before you came in, a lot of the so-called leaders are actually sitting in the diaspora. And many people incite violence and direct people even with possible liability. But for the people who really have the contacts and know what is happening on the ground, we know that ultimately the real criminals are not the young men and women who pull the trigger, but they are the people who actually and direct them in many ways. And I guess I want to ask you, what is it that, first of all, maybe drawing from your experiences, how, to the extent that you would hold some people accountable, how do you hold the people accountable beyond just finding out who the trigger in that one case? What are some of the possibilities, evidence, or whatever, for lack of a better word? What can we do to be able to make sure that after this, like you mentioned, force doesn't become right, doesn't become right, doesn't become right, that those people who actually commit these crimes are actually held accountable. So I would know I'm words here, but I hope you understand my concerns and my thoughts.
Yes, Your Excellency. No, we have one more hand up. Let's take another question from Struggler Collins.
Yeah, thank you, Excellency, for coming. I just mentioned in regards to because you have experience of the first world war in your country, and now we are having a bomb war, and the situation is changing day by day. As compared to the war you had in modern day, possibility of people maybe communicating some different type of crimes as compared to the time back then when we never had social media. I don't know if in case you could also give us some advice in how, if in case our justice system can be up in order to counter what is going on. Just going to another side again. For example, during the war in your country, I want just to know how was the justice system set up? Is it a centralized style system that would check even the disarmament, or was it also brought down to some, let me say, local level, community level, in order to maybe to see that all weapons that being used were being taken out from communities and also, yeah. And then with regards to also issues of mining, because during the war there was so much illegal mining going on of diamond, even from foreigners, how is the justice system, was the justice system put in place to really crack down and see that it's legal and that it has benefit the country somehow, not some particular. That's all I have. That's, thank you.
Okay, thank you. And last question, and then we'll have Her Excellency answer is Alan. Alan, could you ask your question to Her Excellency? Then we'll go to the discussion.
Morning, Your Excellency. Once again, on behalf of our colleagues, I want to thank you so much for the insight. My question is pretty simple, well, very comprehensive. Um, in the scenario of Southern Cameroons, one of our biggest big fights is that not only are we dealing with terrorist nation, not only are we dealing with an occupier, but we're also dealing with the occupier of the occupier. And when I say this, I'm pointing to boxing finger at France and Iran. You know that. In the case of Liberia, I know that many African countries made mistakes and aware that as much as in terms of pointing the two leaders in the distance and other groups, the funding, the support, and the donation comes from a foreign body outside of Africa. In the case of Liberia, what was that money that was foreign that was helping to fuel the war, and how did you deal with it? How were you able to conquer not only the battle itself, the ongoing battle, but also the foreign powers that be? My second question to you is, well, as is the case with conflicts, you always have a situation where you have what I would call conflict within a conflict. You have the same idea, you have the same vision, but we sometimes have different ways of accomplishing that. In Liberia, how did you deal with other groups that were operating counter to your people? How was that handled? Please, thank you so much.
Okay, yes, your Excellency, you can go ahead and take this set of questions.
Yeah, the second set of questions very heavy, sir. Yeah, I think his last question was what how do you people who encounter the work you've done? I hope I remember it correctly. How do people encounter what everybody else is doing? Let's not include. I don't people do that because of different their agenda is the West because of that is very simple. But I'm really moving backward from the last questions I got. I think the second question you asked was what was the body that was fueling the war that was making money? I'll be honest with you, I have no idea what any other country that were actually supporting. But there were indications shows that were in the cables and that were the shows who came up during the investigation of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, and then these were included in the report. And the Truth and Reconciliation Commission proposed to the Liberian government what should be done. People who finance, who were not on the ground, who may not have been people who finance. So any names that came up to the investigation of people who may have supported that indirectly, involvement of that nature, um, and then someone asked another question that's sort of related to that, what advice do I give or what do you do now for the future that we have an advantage that we didn't have. Technology has improved a lot more than what it was in the 90s when we were fighting the war. We have iPhone, people walking around with camera, you know, we call it to take picture of somebody who conduct atrocities. If Liberian people had access to the kind of technology that we have now, so we have gathered a lot of evidence on their own. And then killers will not see it when they in front of you too, and I'm not saying somebody shouldn't tell them they're lying. Because we have recorded everything and then their body cam and all of that. We don't have access. We have access to all of those things. And I'm seeing people who are able to do it without risking their lives is to collect evidence that if we set up a truth and reconciliation commission in the future, we'll be able to provide evidence for them. Another question was asked about, I think I pretty much answered, was asked about the weapons. The United Nations was able to recover some of the weapons that the people were using when they war for money. A lot of people were hungry. I didn't get that. Most of the brought it, but a lot of the people using the weapon machine, RPG, all of these things, they recover some weapons from our government was able to recover some weapons from time to time, something just by someone across, something before us, uncover the cache of weapons that buried for whatever reason, you know. Sometimes people will claim ownership, most of the time ownership, but you know, recover a lot of quite a few of the weapons. My view, but still have some from the competition of the weapons that we recovered. I have to be by now if we recover enough weapons from no use to never work again. Because once we recovered and said we use it, we were very rusty. If not, it disappeared. So those things are things that really help us to take care of. With respect to mining, yeah, that was a problem with John and all of that. One of the things that the government did was to put in place mechanism right on on the extractive controls the extractive industry. So in other words, people who have diamonds from particular identity and not continue to start report that they are putting diamonds in the pocket without any form of issue that they have been to start doing these legitimate and not doing and not doing the country. So we have that kind of control. There was another problem with that. We had a lot of young men from the war who were unemployed, who did not know how to programs, but were doing artisanal mining, any small mining with the little pens and the and there was this question about what to do to our men. They would start them, but we don't want to put it in jail for that. So some people didn't want that wasn't right. So what do we do? Regularize it, normalize it, reorganize it, reform it, and register with the Ministry of Lands and Mines, and then allow it on their own. It's not heavy mine, doesn't bring a lot of money, but just help them to survive. So we went through that discussion. I really don't know how it turned out because I left in 2014, but really I did. While we were considering what to do, the money just not mine, that's offering, you know, can't mind that they do too much to hurt the mind, but no, but we're trying to figure out how to recognize so people will not be that just get up, find a whole mind, but the other mind, but level balance between unemployment, crime, and the activity that will affect the environment. So all of those things come and so people, I tell you, don't even believe or underestimate that when what's wrong. Start like mine, trying to talk to them, to keep conversation, like, and they go, and all of that. It sounds very simple, but it's very difficult for someone who's uneducated and has been trapped in or on this environment for as far as export is concerned, it's control on export and carrying out some practices. Okay.
Okay. Your Excellency, we have one of our distinguished minds, legal minds, I would say a counterpart of yours, who has his hand up. I was going to ask you a question, but I dare not precede him. So, Professor Carson Anyangwe, you have the floor. Use it as you like, questions, discussions. I think you can lead us in that segment.
Thank you very much. I want to thank Your Excellency for coming to talk to us and give us the snippets of information which would factor in our own situation as we get along. I think it's very, very important to learn from other people's experience. And we had two occasions, yours being the second, to learn from the experience of Liberia. And I hope that maybe in respect to other countries that have gone through kind of similar experiences, we can. And that will avoid pitfalls which, of course, you will know us better without actually knowing.
Prof,
Sorry, I had
Prof, can we see you or your compromise?
no, you can see me, you can see this one.
Secretariat, could you put the split screen, please?
Yeah, let me put, yeah, up. So, yes. I have just two questions. The first one, which I'm very interested in, because for all of the same profession, is the structure of the course in Liberia. Did you have occasion to face any challenge to restructure the course in Liberia and the legal profession, meaning that the work is such a long term? I'm sure a lot of people have collapsed during that period. The second question is, how did you handle existing resource contracts that were negotiated with foreign companies by the previous government?
The first question,
Yes, I was interested about the structure of the courts in Liberia and the legal profession. I'm assuming, I imagine, that after such a long period of conflict, law and order was a problem, and the court was still functioning, the legal profession itself. So how did you have to handle that situation post-war? With the court structure, the court, the legal profession, everybody could join it, right? So, and of course, the second one is how you handle the question of existing resource contracts that were negotiated by the previous government with foreign companies.
thank you very much. Yeah, I guess your first question, first answer is shorter. when the Saudi government came in, canceled 95 contracts right away. And then she filled some of the other contracts that were already existing. Now, most of the contracts she canceled that were contracts that had actually executed 1 million. But some of the older contracts from way back in Firestone, they were renewed. But they refilled a lot of contracts. And we were very tough, really, I would say, in looking at new contracts, looking at FBIs that were coming based on what we saw in those recent contracts that were canceled. Um, One of the things all of our contracts before had arbitration laws, for example, that and now any party who has outside some international forum judgment before maritime sea has a mission asset for what you have won before what authority and assets before one company and before another government institution we work to change that and we hope that the government has continued to follow that. But one of the assets that we negotiated took that clause out is that enforcement of judgment restrictions on Paris Data agency that you sign a contract. So you sign a contract with one company, this disagreement is filed, international center for settlement for instance, that you are bank, not the lawsuit, that the government, and you go and use the assets of one company. That's a company, that's what the contract. And I think that was a major milestone. That's just an example of some of the things that we try to make, some of the contracts of much better future. And you asked about the structure of the courts. Our system is a little different from some of the systems around Africa. Our system is patterned after the American system. So although we have three distinct branches of government, the executive, African countries, refer to it as parliament, or we refer to it as the legislature, and we have the executive. So we have the executive, legislature, and the judicial branches of government. But the criminal justice system is organized in such a way that the judicial branch of government executive branch of government have to work together to make sure that justice system functions in government safely. And I'm saying that to say that the criminal justice system actually consists of law enforcement police officer, like law enforcement, prosecution, courts, and correction, prison system, under which the prison system falls. So you see, the court is part of the judicial branch, but it's also part of the criminal justice system. So in our process of reform, to be able to get a holistic reform of the system, we actually work along with the judicial branch of government. I said that there's no way we can, rebuild the system and make sure that it functions well without working together. And we can do that without what you call conflict, without usurping power of the other, that is separation. Without disrespecting separation of power. But we work together on any project and have any discussion. Things in the system, in our system, in the system, that may be difficult for us to do our work that we thought the judicial branch of government would help us. Then we have a discussion on that, what do we do for the power? Because the system is overcrowding, for example. But we have magistrates who are demanding, but we have judges who are saying, for the prison system, if you know, you know, for the prison system, we are the system, is different. So what do we do? So reduce the work practice, and I'm going to give you one of many examples. So what do we do among ourselves? Discuss that the best thing is to set up a movement where we have magistrate, because most people follow the system, but they don't go through the magistrate. So we said they might be able to organize a movement where magistrates come into the prison. So one magistrate every day, it will be 6 days a week, but if the magistrate is 1 day a week, rather than working for the people in what will come to the prison system. And the next day, some other magistrate from the jurisdiction come to the prison system. So on 6 days a week from Monday to Saturday, we are hearing off the ground. So that is the fast track, we call it fast track program. That is the fast track. The state did not someone like that, but it allowed. They didn't reduce it to where we wanted, but we saw a difference in the number of people that were being incarcerated. So those are some of the things that proposition is correction, but the number is not important. The judge is not important with the information, but the information that people who are put on probation, the other person commit a minor crime, judge might sentence you, the suspected sentence, and decide that I'm not going to send you to the prison. So serve on probation, maybe that you need a probation officer beside you, and that person require you to be
Hello? Yes, I'm thinking I think that way you get for talk. What we say you will talk. Okay, you want me to read them, but after you leave now. Yes, for initiate the discussion. Okay. 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 But we'll keep them very concise now. Okay. Alright. Okay. Yes. Yes. Okay. Okay.
So it's still a work in progress. That's what I mean by still more transitional process that we have to keep working on. Sometimes people have challenges in which more practice we have to get back on track. It's very, very important. Each day the answer to all of these problems is what we want. Now, what you have to worry about all of these things that we're working about right now are the happens. It happens what so we work together, we try to work together, maybe we do certain practices of what we see, how the system looks at those some pressure on the system. One of the things I was working on with the government, and I hope you still pursue that, I don't know, but we realized after the war that a lot of our people tend trying to transition almost informal justice system. So here to the stuff goes with those that were no police officer. So how when the people go to report the grievances, how did they get the when because the traditional person will move along. The person in the formal justice system will not move along quickly. But the people in the traditional system move along and wherever they were, even in the refugee camp, they set up council there. So when people have grievances, they went with the people. So we formed, we actually did a national consultation. And that is an important thing. You need to let the people know that they are not is simpler in their understanding, and you know, so what do we do? They don't like it. The justice system is very expensive, very complex, and there was feel that they have received justice. So how do we switch from one to the other, or do we see them in our lives and do it? And that was the whole purpose of the international consultation among the Nigerian people. We're very surprised to see that most of them, including the prefer the former justice system. So we decided that this is the place that we have to look to how we can learn to allow some other African countries that to start at their process is not on one side, but at some point when the group of deputies of the higher level we was. So we went, we did consultation, we did a report, and we have reached this stage, I think it was 5 stages. Last stage is actually to try each station to see how it works. And be aware of the pipeline, and what I would do self justice system. A lot of people have some questions. A lot of people have feel that they have an answer for what is somebody for. Not only in these warlords, but my brother citizens who use the opportunity of the war. Some people have the personality. We always think that when people do justice after the war, just lie and speak on and make people break down the rule. But there are some people in civil society who have personal enemies and they use the chaos to go after these people. So they have people that will brought to justice. So all of those things we have to consider, and that's why we started looking at the informal and the formal system because we felt that it was to we want to have a greater impact and to force the entire country to go through the formal process.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We have a hand up, and I think I would ask a question, then we'll go to Celestine, Comrade Celestine. Your Excellency, you mentioned the statutory cases of girls, some as young as 12. And so I'm really interested to know post-war, post-conflict, what were some of the things you did as a justice minister to rehabilitate and cater to the psychological trauma of these young girls who some of them had been repeatedly abused over this period of 14 years. Were there any specifics? I know you were in charge of the prosecuting special gender-biased violence. And then let's take the question from Celestine.
Thank you so much for the motion, and
You're welcome.
I'm going to know how I have heard discussion I got interested by many sub-sector politicians that grew up in Nigeria and a lot of treaties that with time that might have provoked some of instability there. And for instance, second civil war that devastating in Liberia, like Congo and so on. You use A.M.F question of how you try to manage the system of government inclusive, so that all the positions should be had and try to make everybody's voice heard.
Would you close the
I
window
think
upstairs?
recently the problem of Ambazonia, southern Cameroon, we have a system where some people do not really want to innovate, do not really want to come on the table to talk. And they claim to be a very, very leaders, so that people don't reach out to see how we could form ourselves together. Notwithstanding the influence of the international community supporting this particular group of individuals. Maybe you might have had similar issues in your country, and I want you to maybe help us explain how you manage to handle this. Because I live in Switzerland, and Switzerland has a lot of influence when it comes to our crisis today. And even if, no matter how much document we bring or try to explain situation, they still keep uh, they claim that they are neutral. The neutrality revoke and encourage some people to facilitate killing of our loved ones. And maybe your examples or experiences that you went through handling such issues might help us to know how to handle such conflicts when it comes to issue of I mean, dialogue and try to take care of their interests. Because sometimes getting frustrated. That is the aspect of governance. So we try to form a government out of exile. Because we can do that and prove that we can manage ourselves well before we move down to our country. And each time this aspect come up, we have to go like that maybe by the help of some of the international community. And we can recognize that. So I want to ask you how you can elaborate on that so that we can learn from that. Thank you.
Thank you. Your Excellency, you can go ahead, John.
Yeah, I will start with the second question. One question on what do we know about people who don't want to cooperate. And I saw in private time to what someone about outside. You know, I mean, it's difficult when you have that communication to form the people. It's always good to bring people from outside. You know, and everybody outside doesn't take side. I know sometimes people feel that, oh, maybe you go outside and other side because other side already has a country or government that's protecting you or supporting you. There are many, many people out there that surprised that we have been supporting what is going on the other side. You know, but that supporting the outside government and supporting the opposition. So it's always good to reach out to as many people out. But as I said, you have to be clear nobody one out the national community. Because as the first question before we asked, are you talking about secession? Are you talking about taking your one vote so that you won't the one together? You're not going to make that decision for you. So you always put people from what it is you want and do something. And so you always have to be out there. But I believe, and maybe I'm wrong, tell me because you know, I will continue to so but I think that there are people out there that you reach out to that not in science but other countries clearness what is going on in science that people recognize this type of conversation. It's important to have a conversation. You know, I do see how it doesn't work than accept someone as part of the world body who have all these things going on with a new segment of the population that is dissatisfied with speak and doesn't want to talk. Good leadership is about making sure all of your people, as many of your people, as possible, are happy and are satisfied with governance in the country. So I hope that there are people out there, governments out there who are sympathetic, including the national body, the United Nations, because that's what it was created for. But we have to pass it. I would think that the country is now parties to install. And it's quite strange to ask what's about girls, what is being done. I would say, he has set up a gender ministry because this is specifically focused on issues that affect girls. And as I mentioned earlier, we also set up a special court. We have a special prosecution for sex and gender-based violence. That was violence against women. I think where we have come short, and I hope that things have gone, different society, but where we have come short is after persecution, what happens to go back in the environment, what temperature that is in the room, go back, what position, I go on private homes where the private home schools, some of them were run by like some of them were run by international but when such people inadequate. But the number of people we had at any one time we have 200 people who are in class. And this is 10% of the basic population, largest basic population. One is about the largest basic population of 1,000. The largest basic population in the country is a little over 1,000. That's among that group, about 10% of them are immigrant. So, a situation like that requires that you look at what happens to young women after because the person these people put in but what happens to them before and not private organizations and not government and school, funding one sometimes. And I think we have 90% for private organizations. Because you don't want to be trying to do someone
Thank you, Your Excellency. One last question which came in is that how did you separate between those who were prosecuted in Liberia and those who were handed over to the International Criminal Court? Like well, my understanding, those who were tried in Liberia for crimes committed during the war and those who were tried or handed over to the International Criminal Court. How did you decide who went over to the ICC and who was tried at home? And I think Dr. Edmond wanted to add to that question.
Yes, please. And that would be those people, the role of truth and reconciliation committee, those who were actually handling the truth and reconciliation committee. Just like as a government working in South Africa, we saw what happened in South Africa. We did some people actually confessed to whatever their own, some of the criminalities or some of the transgression that happened. And some of these people, when they were confessed, they were giving amnesty. Who were the people who were actually giving amnesty? Who were the people who, like the former question there asked, those people who were criminally prosecuted, those people who were actually defended international court of justice.
Yeah, let me go back to what I had said earlier about that Nigerians have not prosecuted. There's still work on there's still pressure on the government and the international community that essentially have people prosecuted. Mr. Taylor was not handed over by the Liberian people, he was handed over by the people of Sierra Leone. He because during the war, you had people also in Sierra Leone fighting the war. And some people in Sierra Leone had been charged and tried. Also, if you follow the news, you see the people who have been arrested. But in other parts of the world, like here in America, in Switzerland, in other parts of the world, it's sometimes for acts that are on did wars indirectly did. So what happened in the war? Sometimes for arms, one or two people who were in war, arms, but have been arrested, and you know, are supposed to, we have like millions, like, recently arrested in Sierra Leone. I mean, Switzerland tried together like Britain was arrested, put on a house arrest, went through the court process here, but he was arrested because of some false answer he was on his immigration application. But that's what it's for in the law. He didn't walk. It was very important for, I mean, he's not alive, but that's why I started so far. And that's why I said in the beginning, one, when we signed it in the beginning, we signed the government inclusion so that everybody who was involved, all the foreign factions will also participate in the and that immediately before when resolution. Also, I want to accept the reconciliation commission. It's a little different from the one in South Africa where they had a mandate to also question. We don't have a mandate under our agreement or signed contract to question. Only to investigate in one case where the Truth and Reconciliation said that politicians who were indirectly involved in fighting war should not engage in politics or fighting. And so, and the Supreme Court ruled in that paper. The Supreme Court said these people didn't have procedural due process. So you can't stop them from getting involved in politics is constitutional, but unconstitutional. So the one. So we really haven't done anything. That's the point I'm making. And when you get to this way, you get together to sign an agreement, to decide on kind of government that will run the country, a government on inclusion. And I don't think a government on inclusion is a bad thing. I think it's a good thing. All the people who were involved in the war, and including the generals and all of them did not have committed atrocities. But if one so actually committed atrocities that you know of, you should not include it. The people involved in the different warring factions, especially the rest of the people, civil society, to the government, we have General A, B, and C. Well, we know that General A was such a terrible person. We saw him kill a lot of people. We saw him poor women and slight sexy. He's very capable to be a minister again, but we can't put in power. All the rest of the people might say to them, you want this general to come power to be minister of defense? We don't agree. This is what we don't agree. This is for the this man, for this man. We don't want it. So I'm not saying a government on inclusion is a bad thing. It's a good thing. You want all your people involved, that way you keep people from fighting. But you don't want the key perpetrators to be the people who benefit from inclusion and who are very high offices in all three branches of government. This has been the problem. So they're not going to question themselves. And so the reconciliation commission on right, the reconciliation commission in South Africa didn't have power to question. They were just supposed to investigate. Point out who these people were, what they did, who should be on the list for reprimand, who should be on the list for prosecution, and all of that. And that's all it did. So they did their job. It's probably that was really
Thank you, Excellency. I think we have really learned a lot and some differences. I don't know if there are any things you would want to find out from us at the town hall, any opinions, if there's anything you want to draw to further instruct your interest in what's going on in southern Cameroons. We
but the opportunity to just give us a baptism for them to about what is going on, why you're concerned at this point, why you are conducted this time, or why you're concerned, and what did you do, what you want them to do to help you where you are right now in your Christ, and what you do. And I'm sure there are people who listen to you right now and wondering exactly what is the status of the conflict, what's going on, where are you right now, what can I do? Is there any information I can give them? Is there a friend I know somewhere in government in another country that is very helpful in the course or something that I can talk to? I mean, this is something I'm sure the audience out there wants to know. Wrap up something like that. For myself, I can say that, the amount of time that question information that you want to expand on contact, but for me, as a measure, one of what you come to talk about what I think about conflicts and bad things about war. Always have to have war because our children get hurt. Our children will future. Every day I wake up, I wonder 10 years from now, 20 years from now, who's going to run like this? How do you get those who are people who shall to run like this? Probably have that same problem now. Young children are walking more, but probably are not in school. So they're not in school, they're going to be uneducated. They're not educated, uneducated. Our country was the first time we said in history of our country where the older people were more educated that way, but are more educated than the younger people. And that's not good at all. There's any way and that there's any way that young children can continue to have education while the COVID is going on.
Thank you for that very important suggestions that this is also an opportunity to educate the international community. We have two luminaries. I see Ya's hand is already up. Ya is your very close friend and sister. So normally we give the ladies and then the gentlemen, but I think we would give Professor Anyangwe 5 minutes and then give you 5 minutes in response to what Her Excellency has said, that we should take this opportunity and educate the international community on what's really going on. So I would call, Your Excellency, we didn't prepare this, but thank you for that. I think we should be doing this every town hall session. I will call on Prof. Prof, if you can start in 5 minutes, and then we will give Maggie Kilo 5 minutes, and then she would also have the final word before Her Excellency closes this segment of the program. Prof, could you in 5 minutes just give a response to Her Excellency, tell the world what's really going on?
British and the force down our throats in order to decide whether to join Nigeria or to join French Cameroon, which was very strange because the country does not achieve independence by joining one country or the other, it achieves independence directly. Nonetheless, given the dilemma people were faced, they opted to form a federation with French Cameroon. The federation meant that they were going to cohabit side by side together, and that cohabitation went on for about 10 years. But unfortunately, the French Cameroon, which was the majority side, didn't see things that way for them. For the spread of their grab, they claimed that French Cameroon was handed over to them by the United Nations and Britain. We don't have the record of all of that, but that's how they treated the people of the Southern Cameroon, who were now called Ambazonia. And since then, we've seen that it's a new form of colonialism that emerged, what we call now black on black colonialism. And for the past 60 years, we've been fighting and struggling to undo that colonialism. Just like the Chinese to undo Ethiopian colonialism. Just like Western Sahara is fighting to undo Moroccan colonialism. Just like East Timor is to undo Indonesian colonialism. It's a new phenomenon we see in Africa where nobody can do that. They can just turn around and grab territory because that's small and weak. We saw that with Somalia trying to do the same thing, like India trying to do the same thing, the Outer Street and so on. And since then, it has been one fight after the other. And I must tell you that at the stage at which we are with this book has exhausted every possible remedy. We have been to court, we have indicated with them, with petition, we sent the petition over a period of over 55 years. No solution, nothing. And to our horror, one fine day, went to our lawyers, teachers, to protest because it was the final stage of the colonial system which were to unleash on us. What they did was now to use brute force, unleash the army, and they went for the killing spree. The system of those pictures is horrifying. Women, children, indiscriminate murder, and so on. Who was under prepared for this war? But the young man said, no, we can't take this. So they picked up stone, I mean, literally stone sticks, to defend themselves, to defend their community, and to defend their families. And that's going on now for the past 4 or 5 years. And it has morphed to real war. Fine. The young men who will find now, lecture is not from a new war, lecture will not see training at all. And this is the brutal, well-trained people. So that is where we are. That is our situation. And we are saying, no, we did not vote that the British should leave. For us, it's not the colonial authority, the French colonial authority. And we will never accept it. That is basis to our fight, which is one of accepting our independence as a people, as a country that has known democracy, has known self-determination, self-rule since 1954. So this war, contrary to the situation we have not for secession, is not secession because at no time has French Cameroon and Green Cameroon formed one country. Never, at no time. We challenge everybody to stand up. Nobody can produce a document. The relationship that the two is one of master and servant, colonizer and colonizer. And the people are fighting and saying we can never accept colonial rule in this area, which is something the United Nations is opposed to. Colonization is an achievement right now. It's unacceptable. Even the state itself, document says they reject colonial any form of regime. I will never accept it. This is the last thing to accept that. This is against everybody going to die with that war. So that is our story. Thank you. So much.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you, Prof, for that eloquent narrative of our situation. Yeah, your hand was up. If you would also, in this last 5 minutes, also include the closing remarks for Her Excellency, then we'll give Her Excellency the last word.
Make my comment and then my last word. First, I can say I want to speak differently from you. Say that since the start of it second war, the first one started in 1961 and accelerated in 2016, lasted 5 years. It's a war of acceleration. What has that done to us? Deepen our legal, cultural, and economic structure. We had a perfectly functioning country with all our institutions. We can do something called the war of acceleration of the 50% so-called minority English-speaking people of the southern part. So that war took away from us our further introducing our security structures, our cultural institutions, and how to our economy. So even our natural resources are all owned by in 2017, the second war was declared on us by the Ambazonia, and that was a war of violence in our psychological, emotional, mental destruction of the soul, the mind, and the psyche. So our youth are experiencing their self-isolated and raped communities burned down totally. This one now, the actual most violent rape of people of some Cameroons that the country undertakes to the pleasure and the white eye of the country. So we've gone through the institutional war, the legal, cultural dissemination of our economy and our country. We are now experiencing the worst time. And I know that from your presentation that these two wars of we're complaining about the first war, the accusation war. The second one now, the worst one, because actually going after the things that are the most intangible that we cannot see. How do we then teach our children to know wrong from right, to have the ethical way that we should when parents are running away from bullets and children are doing things that they shouldn't do? One of the kinds of abominations in our country is practicing giving grades to their in Africa. And so you have that humanitarian aspect. And you're asking in a country that you cannot put right the simple assimilation for. How then do you fix what has been added, psychological trauma, the emotional trauma, the mental trauma, the destruction of the mind and the soul of our people? And so you want now to take these great people back to the place of their thoughts after they go through all of this for 55 years and now 60 years into the two wars. So the first war that lasted 55 years added on to the second war. How do we survive this kind of torture, this kind of destruction? How do we then say that we are not separately watching back the one against so that we will be tortured some more? How much can we take from this? So, Madam Minister, that is our situation. Anybody will be asking. The war on our people, and not just one thing. A long-standing assimilation war lasted over 55 years, on top of which has been added. This was violent and war. So I want to really thank you and my Liberian family here. I see some names that I know from Nigeria. I see Asatuba, as Kenneth has joined us, and there's Patricia, one of the people who are here. Some of your names are so Cameroonian that my people cannot tell that you are not Cameroonian and you that. So I want to really thank you for representing Nigerians so well, for representing human beings and what is human so professionally. I really appreciate time and struggle that you've taken. I appreciate more the thought that you are actually putting yourself at our disposal. Anytime I'm here at the work with you, listen to the two words that you do. How can you work with us? One of them. Because it is only in rising up against the one that is not the most brutal now that there is how to work. So we will continue to work. I cannot appreciate it enough. I really cannot. I want to thank you and thank you for working with my husband. We have learned so much. Even me, I was thinking like, oh my God, learning and learning. So I look forward to our collaboration and I thank you and thank you. And ask God. I thank our daughter, who was here, I think, something around, for helping me set up and ask. So we are family and we're not going anywhere. So thank you so much. Maybe we'll call you again if you don't mind. I'm sure there are some things that you can talk about. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And really keep well. All our represented by you well. And I'm sure our Nigerians who are here will go home now feeling very, very, very proud of you. My second time. Thank you so much, and dear friend.
Thank you, yeah. Thank you very much, and thank you, Prof. And we thank the entire Liberian community for coming out and supporting us. I think this is the third one. We had His Excellency the President. We had Councillor Shesong and her colleague. Yeah, what's her name? I forget.
Minister Banki.
Minister Banki. And now we have you, Your Excellency. We'll be honored to give you the last word, Your Excellency, before you leave us or stay and continue to be with us. But you have the last word for this segment.
I'd like to say thank you for having me, and it's good for you to know that there are people out there, people like Liberian people that are Liberian person tells you, I understand and I feel your pain, you know that you really do understand because of what we have to do as a people. Like I said, don't give up, be patient, don't ever feel that there are people out there who don't understand or who just support you. It takes a lot of work. And ours took a long time, and I hope yours as people that too much of a time for people to suffer. I hope you take this time in that. And as much as you have continued now, if you continue to reach out to people out in the community, you kind of support you and kind of understand that so that these problems can be put into some sort of resolution for all. Not just for people, also for all of people. And so that suffering is mine. So I'm glad that you had the opportunity to connect with the audience who have listened to us here and know that yours is a different kind of war, but it's still war. Consequences are still the same. Suffering are still the same. Children are at the school, they are hungry, we are people are losing their property, people are losing their lives. So the consequences are still the same. And feel free to reach out to me at any time. Anything I can do from my experience and knowledge I have that I can share, I do that. Share. Thank you for honoring me and honoring my country by having me here.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you very much, and thank you. Thank you for extending the outreach. We will be in touch with you, Your Excellency. Thank you. So we would ask the Town Hall Secretary. The Town Hall Secretary will just read a brief statement which we prepared to follow up on Her Excellency. We'll just ask, I crave your indulgence. Participants at the 43rd Southern Cameroons International Town Hall, fellow Southern Cameroonians, we a people aspire to a great ideal and yearn desperately to improve on their lot. They embark on courses of action which would ultimately yield their aspiration. Our collective goal since 2016 and before has been to establish for ourselves and our children a society where truth, freedom, and justice will be made available to all without regard for race, gender, faith, or ethnic origin. To achieve it, our people have had to endure an unjust war imposed on them by the colonial regime of French Cameroon. We have remained undaunted and unflinching in our commitment because we want to be totally free of tyranny and subjugation. As a deliberative assembly, The Southern Cameroons International Town Hall has established itself as the platform on which the people of Southern Cameroons can freely express their desires for a just and free society and how they intend to go about it. We have acquired enough knowledge and understand that only we can free ourselves. But we must pursue whatever action we embark on with discipline, determination, and remain united in purpose. The lessons drawn from different speakers who have come to the town hall and the experience of others who have lived through a similar experience compel us to take the next step in our liberation struggle. We must now begin to work towards a political framework which will enable our people to choose the best system they would like for their country. By opening this discussion and taking action, our people will be addressing the infighting and internecine war which is becoming the trademark of some groups in this struggle. We are fighting to free Southern Cameroons, not to install a leader. Our people will ultimately choose their leader, but there must be a framework. For us to achieve that. We must send a message to the international community that we know what we want and know how to pursue it. We refuse to be pawns in the game of self-serving politicians who themselves are neither unstable in their quest for freedom, nor have the temperament, patience, or diligence to pursue it in a coordinated, consultative, and unified manner. No individual or group will impose what is best for Southern Cameroons. By this, we are saying that we shall not be like South Sudan or Eritrea. That is why the town hall will bring together in the days ahead some of our legal experts to begin discussions on the ideal political framework for Southern Cameroons. Together, we will build a consensus at community level and not allow guns to impose what is good for us. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Manato.
Yes, Dr. Fontaine.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Manato. I cannot put up my hand because of my position. I think what our guest did today was some opportunity by the position that you have taken on the heels of our presentation is very, very proactive because I believe that what has been lacking all along and that has found the notion that through this war somebody can be thrown is the lack of political framework. And this kind of attitude will be stamped down. I gather from your statement that it will be stamped down once our people determine what they want. Yes, once our people determine what they want. I think that we are all aspiring to the country. For a long time we have been talking about we want either a presidential system or we want a parliamentary system. Southern Cameroons had a parliamentary system which was very interesting. I think we need to work on it. It is not the work of a secret society. It is an open task. And I pray that you will follow through this particular position that you have put forth for the town hall in the days ahead. Subsequent town halls will address the kinds of things that we want. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Fontaine. I think it's important after we've heard from Her Excellency, we don't have to wait till the end of the war to start putting in place the kind of system we want, because that vacuum is going to create a lot of chaos. I think it's important that we learn from the lessons, some of which we heard today, some of the mistakes in the Accra Agreement. Her Excellency has agreed we can reach out to her to start preparing the framework, and as she said, make it inclusive. We learned about the formal and the informal judicial system, a hybrid that got the people involved. So I think it's important for us to start working on a kind of framework that would have the people involved and let the people be part of the making of the nation they want, as opposed to us only talking about fighting for freedom and not preparing a framework for after independence. We don't want to find ourselves where South Sudan is. We don't want to find ourselves where Eritrea is with one of the worst dictators after 30 years of bloodshed and fighting for independence. So that's something that many have reached out to the town hall secretariat, and that's something that we are committed to doing as a people, not as a secretariat separate from the people, but as the people's platform. It's something we have to do. Amber Farmers, your hand is up. Unmute yourself.
Yes, thank you so much for the opportunity. I would like to use this opportunity to raise my concern about our ethics. Such an important educational event which is not broadcast on ethics. I think this is unacceptable. As the people of Southern Cameroons are contributing money to pay for ethics to help educate all our students. There's absolutely no excuse why this event is being broadcast live on ethics, at least on Facebook. So I want to use this opportunity to draw the attention and to um,
Yeah.
something has to be done about this.
To your point. Yes, to your point, Doc. Yes, to your yes, they are recording it and they would have a replay. They have. I've been in touch with the chairman. He reached out to me, so they've had some issues. Yeah.
Moderator, if you can indulge me, I think the point that Amazon makes is very important, but there was a technical issue. And we're very sorry about that, and we'll address that later on in touch. At the background, I started way everybody as early as 8 p.m. trying to get everybody, all the parties involved, make sure that this was. And there was a brief period when we were on before our guest speaker came on. For some unknown reason, for some unexpected reason, I went out. And I was throughout the conversation. I was actually in the background trying to address this, but that's something that we'll address. Yes.
Yes. And
I can testify to the fact that I started watching Her Excellency on SCC
Right.
before it went out. So I
Yes.
just wanted to make that very clear.
Yeah.
yes, and they will rebroadcast it. Yes, they will rebroadcast.
Yes. So everybody must remember that we're reporters, and not once, not twice.
Yes.
And then we eventually, as Her Excellency is here, we may be actually eventually in a case where we may find our man for some of this conversation. As we think the continent needs to know about a lot of what our own brothers and sisters went through, and why she's here. So they will actually make this point as well. And we hear a lot about a lot of people in the continent who say, "Oh, as Pan African, why are you trying to, disintegrate or maybe secede?" As Tanzania has actually said, it's really not the case. But there is nobody who can actually have the continent cannot exist as Pan-Africanism without self-determination is an illusion. Where mind become right is an illusion. So maybe that would be the next conversation that Her Excellency will probably, from an extensive experience, to come to us about. Because I hear this a lot. We have many people who are not as bold as she is to come, or maybe some of our colleagues who are actually still serving in the government, to come and actually try to help us address this injustice. As like Martin Luther King famously said, justice to one.
Your Excellency, since you're still on, please don't feel cut off from the conversation. Please feel free to be part of the conversation now as just as the open discussions on maybe the problems facing Africa, maybe some of the things still facing Liberia, some of the challenges. We don't want you to just be a spectator, Your Excellency. Please feel free.
Listening is a learning process for me. It's helping me to put the whole thing in context, by listening to you and listening to the comments. It's getting developing my mind for better understanding of what environment really is.
Yes. Thank you, Your Excellency. Comrade Celestine, your hand is up. You have the floor.
Yes, Mr. Moderator, something just came to my mind. We are talking about general, see about Liberia and our excellence. This is about the ICC judgment. And we have former President Charles Taylor, who is undergone some charges for war crime and so on. And question I want to ask is, why is this only African leaders who undergo ICC charges or whatever in courts like this? Meanwhile, we have series of issues that European countries and nations have done similarly, and they are not being judged as such. So what sort of power do they have to protect their own leaders in the way that they wouldn't be judged? In such case, they will expose our deliberators to such level because there were times where still feel as hero of the country. And now he's known as killer, a human rights abuser. So it means every deliberator fighter likely to be judged, right? Because they think the rules. So how can we manage every situation like arms, for instance? Because we have people who are fighting genuine fights. They are trying to protect it. This war did not come to us like us going to fight it. Then some boys, some fighters, brave men and women have found themselves trying to protect their families from the aggressors, and they are marching them out. Tomorrow they will be used like Charles Taylor who just so what sort of treaties maybe have been signed by Liberia and some African nations that make it vulnerable to such injustice?
Well, they brought you back in, Your Excellency. Yes, go ahead. It's an open discussion, right? Learning, we can never learn enough.
The first thing I think we should like to be fair and balance, our whole thinking, our African leaders and the behavior and all of that. If an African leader commits crime and does something wrong, then we know that in his own country it might be difficult for people to prosecute particular action against him. Then it would be a good thing to have some outside institution, whether it's in Europe or whether it's in Africa, to take care of that. But then at the same time, I agree with comment. I don't know if it's similar to the comment that a lot of people made like 5, 6 years ago when the Kenyan leader, I thought the Kenyan leader together, and they were trying to take ICC. A lot of people objected to it. All the people that took to the ICC are African leaders. There are 2 points I want to make. One, I think that we need to strengthen some of our sub-regional organizations. Like ECOWAS. ECOWAS is fine. I'm from West Africa and I know they will look good. Like Liberia, the war, they send us monetary. They were not perfect in their own mistakes like everybody else. But they did the best they could do, and you can see the opportunity there to try to strengthen so that we have regional organizations that have credibility to take care of African that might be difficult for people in their country to take care of. That's one of the problems we have. The second thing is the ICC was set up by what they call the gold statute. It was written in sometimes like if you effectively and sometimes they subscribe to it. So if you subscribe to something and you get to conform to it, so maybe they have a that's you someone in TV and someone in documents they sign and they ratify it. But if you ratify it through the legislation, someone that subscribe to principles of that statute. And that's one of the Nigeria is a member of the statute on which defines what's the statute. So maybe that's one of the things that you look at with priority. When it comes to time, it comes to the point where you have to decide whether you want to become part of the national body, you have to look at jeopardy. And requirements and mandates we have done. Decide whether or not it affects you or it's going to help you or it's going to benefit you. And whether you want to be part of it.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Jojo, you have your hand up. It's an open discussion, remember. Jojo, go ahead. Jojo, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there. Yeah, thank you. And yeah, I think so. I guess I'll talk about wow. And then you state everything. You said exactly what is involved in the situation and what the international community can do. And my suggestion is that we want the international community to help to pressure on the government to call for a ceasefire because the government is not doing that. And so to call for a ceasefire. And secondly, the international community can also help us ensure that fast-fighting mission is still down on the ground so that crimes are being committed and those who are responsible brought to justice. And two, at all wars, no matter how the war is, no matter how long one is to the negotiation table, we also want the international community to help us to put pressure on Mr. Bianco to understand that this problem cannot be solved to not be solved in the negotiation table. And without the perspective to bring ceasefire and killing of fast-fighting mission and ensuring that Nigeria is together and we have this human rights.
Yes, Your Excellency was asking if you have any advice of what we can do to get Bia to come to the table.
How many people out there were disappointed with your cause? It is to reach out to them, reach out to as many people as you can reach out to the international government and to international organizations out to know and see what response they get. Well, I think the caller was very correct as I said that anyone you reach out to, we want to do the same way this one. And we want to make sure that the community is that everybody has to come up understanding of what direction we want to go. That the people that I have different views about what they want policies. Some conflict between the Cameroon or what decisions on power. I think what's out to agree that we actually added this level is not enough from people are not in a position to come back this time. It's happening. It's hard work, but let's just want something like a few of those that that persistence actually needs more sometimes. But I have asked that see if that's enough. What that is what we want so that what is what the what problem the what
thank you, Her Excellency. We have Miss Vivian. Your hand is up. You have the floor, comrade. Go ahead. Okay. You know what it is? No, they think say na a game say na a setup. Between the boy and that gun. Well, they know the money be involved, but yes, yes, it is not soldiers. They have said it's definitive. They have spoken to all the groups around them. None of them know. Yes. Well, they told me yesterday they were going to try and pinpoint the place today. I'll have to call them. The idea was that they would give the mother a number, so when they call, she asks them without warning them, without warning the boys that she's adding somebody, because the boys are not taking calls. They turn their phone off and turn them on only when they call. So when they call, the phones are off. Yes, yes, exactly, exactly. Yes, because it is not fighters. And the kidnappers. No, the boys and the kid. The boy and the kidnappers, so that the monks should send money. Yes. One second. Yes. Yes. Hello. Oh. Yes. I'm in a meeting. Yes. Okay, I'll call you back. I thought maybe there was an update on Mama. Okay. All right, I'll call you back.
Oppression, everything else can name no. So we need to talk to our other Africans. We need to liaise with other African tribes, other African community, grassroots movements, and form a big movement that can tackle not only these problems that we have in Southern Cameroon, but in other African countries, because they feel the pain that we feel. And no African dictator will stay there when people say, no, we've had enough of it. So I just want to highlight the need for us to go out of our comfort zone and talk to other Africans who feel the pain that we're feeling. Talk to other people who don't look like us in skin tone. Use my people who will really, really take us serious and who will take us where we want to go. We're doing that in Georgia. I'm doing that in Georgia with my African women group. We're looking for other groups to liaise with. We've written diplomatic letters to the UN, to the AU, and we want to partner with other African groups. So if you're in a group or any African grassroots movement, path, anything, please contact me or contact Mama, and together we will resolve our African problems, because we own those problems and only us can resolve those problems. I'll yield here. Thank you all so much for your time.
Thank you very much, Sister Vivian. I think Dr. Edmond is in touch with a number of African network organizations, so I think he would be able to be a good start point. The ADDI, Professor Numba's organizations, and a couple others. So yes, we agree with you. I think we need to each I think we need a reawakening because sometimes we come to the town hall, we talk, then when we go, other things overtake the priority and the importance of us talking to other people. But thank you for that input. I think we would now shift. All right, I was going to shift into the second part of the program, which while Her Excellency is here, because Her Excellency, while you're here, we want to shift into the second part because not only are we fighting the physical war where there is shooting, but as Professor Ayangwe said and as Yamagi Kilo said, the French Republic of Cameroon has been trying to dismantle, not trying, they have dismantled every single institution you can imagine, from public parastatals, the tax laws for individuals, our legal system, our educational system, and it is ongoing. So the second part of what our program today is to discuss an attempt which we think is a sinister ploy to dismantle one of the universities, which, by the way, was built on the blood of young people who went out and demanded that we have a more equitable educational system, because there was only one university where most of the lecturers were French speaking. And students or children who studied in the English part after high school went to a university to learn in a language which they really didn't master. And so we fought for a university in the English-speaking zone after almost 50 years of independence. A part of the country, a people did not even have a tertiary institution. A lot of us who are on this show today had to go to Nigeria, where our parents went if you wanted to continue your education beyond high school. Or you had to go to the French-speaking university and deal with, the problems of a foreign language. Today, the country is making efforts to begin to open so-called campuses in the French-speaking part of the country, which we think is the first attempt to start sucking resources to what they claim is part of an English-speaking university, away from that university. We have Dr. Fontaine, who is here with us. He was a lecturer at the University of Boya before coming into exile. He was part of the original 2016 demonstrations that evolved into the war we are fighting today. He was a member of the Teachers Union of the University of Boya, and he is still in touch with some of his colleagues. And I think he would be in the best position to lead this part of the discussion. So, Dr. Fontaine, are you there? Yes.
Yes, I'm here, Mr. Wallet.
Oh, okay. I thought she was saying of her free evolution. Yes. Go ahead, Your Excellency. Oh, okay.
But thank you for having me, and I'm
Thank you. Thank you, Your Excellency. Yes. So, Dr. Fontaine, 1 second before you begin. Okay, Dr. Fontaine, go ahead. I'm going to share some images on the screen while you're speaking.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wallet. I would like to add something to as an introduction to the discussion. This is a very pertinent issue. This was about important. The University of Boya was structured along the Anglo-Saxon system. So it means that for a system like in other French-speaking universities where decided for the most part by The Vice Chancellor, who is very often assisted by Senate, the Senate of the University, which is the highest academic organ, academic issues. There is Committee of Deans and Directors, which is also an advisory committee given the Vice Chancellor to discuss things that affect the university. So we have a certain irregularity, and there is line between decisions are taken such that everybody feels like part of the administration. Decisions at the department go right up to the Vice Chancellor's office. Unlike for the most part, where most universities, the head of department can decide for everybody. Just have to follow, and if you're not following, they'll just clown your hand, put the hand on the clown. So, one of the missions of the university basically is to teach research and do outreach. By doing outreach means that the community which the university finds itself should be able to benefit from the services of the university. And so find that the University of Korea has partnerships with the CDC and other corporate organizations that are within the range. But I think that for the CDC is the main structure in our part of the country, which benefits from because at times we have research projects and prepare studies for blood diseases and things like that. So there are also management opportunities, management issues that could also form the thrust of research. And in that case, those institutions usually have Sonara used to be Sonara used to be but to a very limited extent. And one thing that is always good to keep at the back of the mind is that when the University of Korea was not seen, the leadership of the university and the position of vice chancellor was supposed to be elected. The position of the dean was supposed to be and the position of the head of department was supposed to be elected. This means that for anybody who qualified to run for position of head of department, those who belong to that rank, so that anybody who acceded to the position of responsibility did not do so on his own, but was collectively chosen by his or her peers. So it made, in principle, it was a fantastic thing. And so we all look forward to it, but it has never been. It has never been because there will be things that if it were to be implemented, then they will lose their hold, they will lose their grip on our university. And it has continued to fester because when they appoint people to do their work, it's easy to violate university rules in a very subtle manner, knowing that you have the backing of the minister. And there are times when the entry requirement for English students or Southern County students remains very, very rigid. French Cameroons come in 10.00. French Cameroons come in 10.00. And it happens like that across the board. So while it is difficult for us to violate admission requirement from our own children, it's possible for them to violate it. And the person at the helm has to do because he owes his appointment not to the students, but it's the system that has landed. So in the last 2 years or so, the person who has been head of the Faculty of Agriculture and Environment has the French Cameroons, a certain Mpondo. We believe that he was put there to accomplish his very goal, and we're talking about creating an annex population plan. So these are people who usually think out what they are about, what they have to do, and they take their time and planning carefully, such that you're not very observant. You may miss that it was something that was laid out long in advance. It's not something, it's when it is well orchestrated, such that each person has a role to play, the mayor has a role to play, the parliamentarians has a role to play, and the minister is the maestro when it comes to orchestra, and each person is instrument comes in, the point is the team, comes in, studies the system, then tells the mayor it is time to come, then tells the parliamentarians join him, everybody counts, then we have already copied the programs, the syllabuses, and everything, and once it is sent, now we transfer again, and then we transfer. So that is how it works. Now, it is also important to note that in the past 2 or 3 improvements, the University of Boya, they have had about 30% of Southern Cameroonians. For the most part, the university, since recruitment is centralized, it is done by the ministry, except the recruitment that is the replacement of staff that are not available, that are not around, or one reside, and so on. The ministry normally does the recruitment, or the recruitment. They send mostly French people, French companies, University of Boya. And this makes it, and the percentage is usually very high. It's 65 and 80. In other French universities, you find Southern Cameroonians who are sent there just not making anything. Just to disguise that I'm making no plan something, and that's not going on. So over the years, you can notice that in the University of Boya, the kind of language that is used to teach our students is not really English, but a transition language between English and French. There were some recordings at certain moments, recordings of a lecturer teaching in one of the classrooms was circulating in the social media. You could hear the kind of English. There's also the corrupt system now that has come in, which is the sale of textbooks. Lecturers are plagiarizing books that have been downloaded on the internet, print them, and they sell to students at exorbitant rates. And these are sold in particularly the Department of Agriculture, which runs the entrepreneurship program. I have personally spoken to students who buy and work on online copies of that book, used to copy paste for $3, $4, and so on. But those books are sold £1,000. If you don't buy, you don't pass the course. And since most of the students want to finish an education, they have books to buy books. So that is that. Now, I just wanted to set the stage for you to understand how okay the system has become and how they have connected the university system and things gradually spiraling out of control. Now they want to seriously choose and transfer. I said a short while ago that one of the missions of the university is outreach. And so they have come justified request that the University of Boya should act their community. But we all know that the only thing can community is second. Because it will never be economics. So they will create a faculty of agriculture and take our staff who want to transfer them and send friends of their system so that their children will not be to the war they have fought in our country. Will not be to the war they have first created in our country, but will study in their own environment, which is very peaceful. Acquire degrees that are backed by charismatic institutions in the University of Ambazonia. So it is important to note that for the most part, French Cameroonese students who graduate from the University of have greater opportunities than our own children. Because whenever they say that we know somebody who speaks English, they will more likely French Cameroonese who are studying in the university. And as such, our own children, the same qualification, are either consigned bike riding or call boxing. So like those are the basic things. So the issue of creating an annex campus in Ambazonia has to do with jobs. It has to do with jobs. It has to do with money. Until 2016, I don't know whether the budget situation has changed. The University of Oya was the least funded. The University of Oya generated much of its money from programs that they ran. They had professional programs that required three, times, three, four times the normal fees. And from that money, they were able to do the normal, some faculties were able to run, were able to pay their bills, pay bonuses, things like that. And the research and grants that university lecturers receive from abroad, at times the university does something that is unethical. And they have to borrow money from individual lecturers' research projects. The modern you have a research project in the university, it's not about 100 million, and you have money that can be abroad and the faculty has abroad. You cannot solve the problem like there's no money. Yeah, allocation from the ministry has not come, and they have to solve that problem. So the faculty go into your account and take say 50 million or 20 million or 10 million and the money. If you need that money and then you have monthly, you receive their money and you can have the money back whenever. So that is how we raise this issue during our meeting in Bamenda, during the negotiations in Bamenda. And the minister pretended as if he did not know that for 20 years the budget of the university has not increased. He don't know that the allocation to the university has not increased. Universities will have astronomical budgets, but they were not doing as much as the University of Oyo was doing. Then now, as we see, the University of Oyo has farms on campus. They use money, they produce vegetables. They have a fish farm, which is the university lecturers project, sponsored by I think it was a former project. They were selling, they were rearing tilapia and catfish, and they were trying to see how they could rear fish in particular ecosystems. So this was a large part of the university and this it was producing a lot of fish and both bringing in both money and some money from the sale of the products. So I think that when they look at these things, they like it. And what they're going to do is they want to create a parallel
political because we can only make this difference through similar experiences with other structures that we have had within the transparent structure and then to other structure. And so that will be an opportunity. Once they transfer, once they create an annex, they can now go through that annex to infuse other programs which they see because I know the banking program they like it and they like to have it because we have a banking and finance we have an accounting program and we have other programs and so that is how it starts and before long the chunk of money that should have come to the university for smooth and proper function now divert or will be diverted to the annex and then on the scale they will get the certificates on the law while Bacolodinga will now become the district. And then with this Bacolodinga will now become the district because that we can pass family in South America. That was the man who said and I'm quoting like if I had consolidated for the creation of the University of Ghana, I would not have made Oya the pure and successful university. The reason, because that is the cause of the problem that Oya is having. It's specificity. He made it such that when it was time to create the University of Bamenda, modeled the University of Bamenda along the Francophone system aspect of electing vice chancellorship so that it would not become as contentious as it has been or as it had been Mr. Thank you very much, Mr. Wonderful.
Thank you very much, Dr. Fontaine. As an insider, I think you've given us the best backdrop we could ever have asked for to understand how Boya was set up, how the institution works, and the differences between University of Boya and the university in Bamenda. You said, which I, even for me, one, didn't understand that what the mayor of Akonolinga asked the chancellor of the vice chancellor of the University of Boya is within, the scope of what is done and what is normal. I have on the screen a request similar, which I think came before, from communities in the Southwest province that reached out to the same university's Faculty of Agriculture and made recommendations of areas in the Southwest province where outreach programs could be initiated. Nurseries of outreach programs could be initiated, and they actually mentioned specific or suggested specific things that could be carried out in specific areas. I'm throwing this out as a discussion point now. Do you know what became of this request in this outreach from communities within the Southwest province, why it was ignored, and why all of a sudden what came from Akonolinga has been prioritized over what came from local communities? Can you speak to that?
No, in the course of my discussion about this particular request in Dr. I actually only received from someone after I had raised the issue and then sent it to me. I was supposed to check with the number of friends and then talk. But what I know is that the vice chancellor, the current vice chancellor, Mr. Pingo, the systems man, he has worked very closely with Bamenda. And within the system, is called the Bamenda Voice. He was the Secretary General in the Ministry of Higher Education. That is working hand in hand with Bamenda before he was appointed to Boya. So
what they have done to us. That big thing uses your own this way not to be done. Send them back against us. Because when he came back, when he came to Oya, the first task for him was to decapitate the university just to he will not stand or question like this. Because normally in our time, something like this would have already been requested from the vice chancellor going to the chancellor to understand, what are the gains of the characteristics and so on and so forth. But we're not seeing, we're not hearing about it. There has been no meeting of the university chancellor. So it tells you, and you notice that when he came, he was very intolerant of the same. He started by trying to corrupt the number of lecturers. Those who refused to be corrupted concocted a plot against them and sacked them. When you see people like Dr. Sango, who was sacked from the university, Sango was sacked for no offense. Dr. Sango did not want to. Dr. Sango was in Yaoundé. For a meeting was taken and the strike was organized and somebody signed Dr. Sango's signature. And there is proof that on the day that declaring the strike came out, Dr. Sango was not allowed. Don't go after the forger of Dr. Sango's signature when you after Dr. Sango and told him that this is the signature. So you have to. A man is language. They removed him from retirement in South Cameroon. They removed him from retirement and sentenced him because somebody who used to work for them forged his signature. They established the forgery that he was forged. Yes, but he did his signature. Old handsome man. I met him. So it is a system that is and anybody will see it. And if you don't play by their rules, you crush it. So I don't know how, I'm not the response, the vice chancellor's response that came from chiefs of the Southwest province. But I think that even if he received, he will not give them the response because it is there on assignment. I will not do anything to jeopardize that assignment unless no one knows the benefits. And that is why they are gradually scraping the ground and hoping that by the time all of them will have
Before I open it for discussion, the Senate meeting or the Vice Chancellor convened a meeting yesterday. I have the agenda on the screen. And item 7 on the agenda was to discuss the Akonolinga University issue. That was yesterday. I don't know if you've had any updates from your colleagues on how that meeting with this Akonolinga thing went yesterday, just to inform us today. No, that's fine, but I just wanted to know if you've gotten any update.
Not yet. No, not yet. I've not had an update yet. And because one of those who attended the Senate meeting who spoke very clearly for those political promised that he was going to do a positive discussion and I think that
Well, we'll open it up. I think some hands may be up because when we see that the chiefs of the Southwest had made a request for this outreach, provided specific topics of specific areas. They thought the Faculty of Agriculture could be of use to the communities. As you said, the idea is to benefit the communities, and they were ignored. And the Chancellor, the Vice Chancellor, found it necessary to address the Akonolinga meeting subject in a meeting yesterday, that leads one to make inferences of some bias and some cynicism in what's going on. So if anybody wants to join the conversation or ask questions or because this is all part of what we should be addressing. Yes, go ahead. Speak louder, please, Prof. Close. You're muted. We cannot hear you. Yes, but if you can speak louder. Okay. Yes, that's what they want to do. They want to destroy our university. Thank you, Prof. Thank you for that input. Let's go to Dr. Edmond and then we'll have Comrade Celestine. Yes.
At most universities, including the ones that most of us that in the United States, that they would like to promote connections all around the world by university, there's no exception. And that's actually somewhat the pride for the university to do that. But you're talking about universities that are independent, universities that generate their own resources, universities that manage their autonomous, like which is completely at their institution. Autonomous is just education research, But that's not what we want to do. One has to think about what.
Let's talk about it.
unfortunately, for them was also a reason that for the source of tension, and that led to the relationship of course, there were more errors and foresighted enough to take advantage of that, and then he wanted their resources to build a university that was actually so I believe that going to starting what is so-called Ambazonia does not have the same connotation, doesn't carry the same experience of being able to make a federal capital investment. Like one would see what Aqua would do, other investors around the world that were able to in order to show their public data quality outcomes. That's number one. Number two is on the letter that you mentioned from the chiefs, it appears to be already to the letter in the line that looks like it was a reaction to that proposal. And I'm just curious, like you, why the councillor would not have put himself to really respond to the university chiefs. It just tells you that, I mean, the view that he has of them tell you he doesn't really care. And of course, which is exactly goes to tell you what them said, which is instead of people in universities, the system where the professors are appointed, not the professor at university, university leadership is appointed, are not heard. That is really a recipe for this kind of machination to take place. And the investor would unfortunately like their personal institutions are more like a part of the city and more a part of the propaganda that like more of an indoctrination of how you can that can be turned more an extension of the country that is actually voting for the country. So it's not so I think one of the things that we I don't know what their thoughts on this as well. Where is the leadership organization that is of there used to be when Nigeria and one of those who lost 2.5 years of education through strikes, many of which supported and provided the rest of because we saw some of the things that were not right. The students drove Christians and they were the ones who actually ended conversation. Forced the lecturers to comply with what the university
Let us.
Thank you.
Okay. We have some other hands up. We'll go to Comrade Celestine, then we'll come to Comrade Jojo. But I just wanted to make a correction, Dr. Edmond. I have on the screen the letter that went out from the chiefs. That letter went out on the 8th of August 2020. The request from Akonolinga came in April of 2021. I think April 23rd. So the chiefs. Yeah. Yeah.
That was the confusion that I thought. That is, they said if there was not going to be something like charity data, I don't know what they meant by that because that was where the confusion. I thought they were referring to their own
No. They were just saying that the university should start at home. This was even before Akonolinga, and they have been ignored for a year. Yes.
They have been the principal vice chancellor on the 8th of August and raised that issue.
In 2020, yes.
Yes, so when this other issue now came up, vice chancellor, tell them that what you asked what is
Yes. And okay, Comrade Celestine, while you're talking, I would then I will put up the the letter Dr. Edmond is referring to, the one that came up, this is the one Dr. Edmond is referring to, which was after. Yes. So.
It is the beginning of that organization.
Oh, okay.
Yes, that's what I thought. That I think there was some reason that
Okay. Okay. I see.
it sounds like maybe the conversation has started.
Yes. Yes.
Something reality.
Yeah.
She's fairly to go back.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Comrade Celestine. Sorry, go ahead.
Thank you so much for this conversation. I thank you, Doc, to cover some of the issues that I had to highlight at the beginning of the they don't know what they are doing. We see the spread of chemical education in Cameroon. That was something I grew up at primary school and saw those on it and so on. And I even when I was in school, like because that is on where we have trained technicians who come up and start working with most of the alcohol stores, the whole of the country, and their performance is also. And what we do, we start implementing their practice academic marketing to hold in and start recovering students up to graduate from the certification. And because they have seen as a info that grants will begin to force schools to enhance tourism. Yes. Canadian company, for instance, told in schools students to work in Kumba and Ambazonia in our region. And when I graduated in class, I was talking about one of the students to live in Kumba so that they are using coconut to continue business. But notwithstanding the condition, these things actually saw that some students competitively were more, and some English people were more, performance were more powerful than those from French in country. And each time we have grants study out of the country, young ladies were being manipulated and received by the people who not even perform as them. So, action of theirs, and to share with us that our chiefs got some recommendation to spread this cause last year. And this year, that thing is an informal in country. We found some message to those people who are both teachers, lecturers, and students unions. They really have to stand up and do something. And also, I don't know how one can arrange to do that. This is something we have to avoid bloodshed because we actually go after the manipulation a lot of things. How are we going to make an article for Dr. Fontaine? How can he manage this organization that the students union can organize in a way that to go with my students being killed when they are channeling or trying to perform this not to happen? Because these people will not stop. And the message I said the French news 2 days ago in the Red and the statement of some professors and it's something that we can on our own. It's not something that education has pointed me on where I don't know what is like. I'm channeling the council where the professor was and that this is to handle the situation and come back. So rich and so look at that. Where will sit in the office and come on and try to provide your plan to work and to mastermind their agenda and so. So it's something that we have to how is that we are going to do something because this is the very beginning of our crisis in 2016. point that we have to solve. And let this message based on the chase of life and no action by the government. So this all that was just a couple of months ago. And now in August, they are treating that. That's something that should not be enough. As of last year, we all declared that much as I've not met the request of the chief of life is passionate.
Thank you, comrade, for that input. And I think it's something that we have to hammer home. And hopefully, if Dr. Fontem has a response to what we can do, this, I don't know if the students are going to change it. Now that this is done, Famindongo will probably sign his ministerial decree and RK, and then send money to Akonolinga. I think this was just a formality to placate the whole thing. Jojo, if you want to come in and then we have her turn on, then we can have Dr. Fontem respond to some of the points raised. Jojo, go ahead. That was what we played because the Vice Chancellor had a Senate meeting yesterday, and this Akonolinga thing was on the agenda. That's why I asked Dr. Fontem if he had received any updates. So we don't know yet, but if you look at the screen, you see the one between the red dots. That's the agenda for Friday, 20th of August, 2021. So until we hear from somebody who was there yesterday, we won't know if the Senate approved. But more likely than not, it's a rubber stamp institution, so I won't be surprised they approved it yesterday. But we don't know yet for sure. Thank you, comrade. Before we go to her turn on, I just want to buttress your point, Jojo. On the screen, I have here this is a letter from August of 1967, a letter from the French consulate in Boya to the French chargé d'affaires in Yaoundé on a strategy of assimilating us. And we will talk about this in another session, probably on Town Hall Hour. And attacking and dismantling our educational system and introducing the French form of education was one recommendation. I'm talking about August of 1967. So if we think that this thing today is a coincidence, it is not. This is a plan that has been in the making for 50 years, and we have evidence of a document from a French diplomat to his superior recommending the total dismantling of our educational system and introducing the French system. So this thing, we shouldn't take it lightly. They have a school of water and forestry in Balmayo. They call the Zoe Forêt. they could have easily upgraded it to a faculty of the University of SWA or University of Yaoundé 1 in Guayaquil easily. But they chose to come and invade us. So, Hatenon, you're next. Your hand is up. No, your connection is really bad. Hello?
Okay, what I'm saying is, can you hear me now?
Yes, it's much better, yes. Yes, we can hear you, yes.
Okay, what I see in this is that we all have agreed and understand that it's a continuation of their program of assimilation and the destruction of everything anglo-Saxon. This is what they did to our cooperatives. All our systems had to be dismantled, so they are dismantling last vestiges of what is left. That's what I see. That's all I have to say. That they're doing what they did to cooperatives to the educational system.
Thank you, Hatenon. And I think we all agree on that. And before we ask Dr. Fontaine if he wants to respond to some of the points, like especially what is the teachers union doing, what are the students doing, I think we also have to begin to think, what do we do if we can't stop them? Part of our planning should be how we restructure or rebuild our educational system once we have our own country. We cannot wait until they leave our territory. We have to start planning now so that we hit the ground running. Prof, before I go to Dr. Fontaine, Dr. Fontaine, hold on. I cannot ignore Prof. Prof, go ahead. No, we cannot wait. No, I said we cannot wait. I think Jojo made a good point, Prof. We have to increase firepower on the ground, and the statement I read after Her Excellency left us, we have to start broad-based discussions now on planning something for ourselves, be it a constitution, be it our institutions. We have to start talking about that now.
Vice Chancellor, it's a lot of this. There was something that the federal government did, maybe some of this like we went and called the Vice Chancellor of one of our hospitals, and he had to call back that the recipient, whatever it is that we asking that should be received, they said us will pay for about months of our education. That was okay. So I think that there is an extent to which we can win. that person has a question. Boss, what happened? Actually,
No. Jojo, before bringing Dr. Fontaine, the idea, like Dr. Fontaine said, is not for our children to come there. The idea is to create it, take our model, and then take our best minds who are running those models, our professors and engineers who get this, who qualify for these loan study grants to come there and use those grants there to run a fish pond, to run an experimental farm, to run new genetics on better sweet potatoes and those things. Do those things there. So they don't care if our children, in fact, they don't want our children to come. They want our minds that get international funding to come and use that funding there to train their children to be agro-engineers. That's it.
That's exactly what they said.
Yes.
Something else comes up more like and there is a big grant, somebody for the government, putting somebody, and the company is paid so that they can siphon the money. They are not interested in the money. That money is like the money, but not really for our minds to actually. Our minds is just like
yeah. So, Dr. Fontaine, if you want to answer some of the questions, is there anything the teachers' unions are doing? Is there anything the student organizations are doing? Like Prof said, what can we do as a people? Is there any way to hold back lecturers from not being transferred there so those funds stay in our zone where the lecturers are running these projects?
Very hard when because the system will ask for a book tomorrow. Forget about it tomorrow. They usually need a lot of money and they don't have much of it. And so everybody is rushing them for the money. That is why we need to do this. I was just telling you something about how Mamena was. When Mamena was created,
down daily challenge and so on. And in the midpoint harmonized academic programs, know how to scale down but no one to know how to preserve programs from the university that serve our businesses. Send someone who was mentioned so that from the very stranger. Those are the kinds of things. In Boy,
Oh, sorry. Dr. Fontaine, sorry, unmute yourself.
in Boya, the person who is in charge of the program now is a certain professor Norm level, who himself is a brief of the Yaoundé system. So he always says that you cannot find the system and the system. This one is just an aside, but I just want to tell you Yaoundé everything what our system is like. What this man who came in who is now vice chancellor in charge of academics was dean of the faculty. His deanship ran a marked changing rapidly, which ran from centrist in the department through his immediate assistant who is in charge of records. How they did it, nobody knows. The minister knows. But the system likes somebody who stands against you so that you cannot resist it. And what is this? This is otherwise, no one understands. And so with somebody who stands against you, it is easier for the French Cameroons system to have their way. And so since this annex, the creation of this annex was the plan of his office. So it has safety, so as to save its name from the mess like which has been investigated. And senior staff were part of it. He said he was our boss, he cannot inspire us and for that very reason, now let me address this issue of what are the unions doing. You know, gone are the days when the unions would propose and so things are going to change. There was a time that the former vice chancellor was now introduced her business on campus, created a campus tax business. Came up and said, no, the university is where we spend. The campus tax business can be the university business and the university will make money. Why are you giving it some individual down? And we realized that it was the and we negotiated and we went on and back to say, no, let it be the university business so that the unions and the administration can generate some money from it or more as our university because that was the foreign university that was back. It was a serious tug of war. It was a tug of war. Until they used their administrative hammer to go ahead But we also many possible for your business. And so for the most part, business was because we act up and we know that it's and that people were using the numbers to make run private business against the law. In the same way, when you watch how process started, they tried to give somebody that was not how money we had that a colleague of ours who was supposed to have been doing a PhD about 8 years ago was about when she did the work, she did not go through the different processes of that were instituted by the university. And we wrote the minister and wrote the other trade unions. That is how the trade union works. We wrote the other trade unions where they wanted to take interest when they invest of their own name because there was too much. And so we wrote to the trade union in our and said, if you allow this to happen in your university, you will be taking part in the destruction of our university. So you have to stand up. And we raised the pressure to the extent that on the day of the event, all the staff in the department where the event was supposed to take place ran away. Everybody ran, the head of the department, the lecturers, nobody came to school. And when they cooked food and when everything for the event and when they were still there was nobody when members of the team did not come. So that is to tell you how strong the union used to be. But now this is what is happening. Why the unions are frustrated. This is called lecturers who are stubborn. Nobody wants to stand out and argue a point. The moment you argue a point, you tap an Ambazonia and then on the issue and the crowds come after you. You know the issue of Dr. Sample was something of many things. Then the university organized and went and said, because they wanted Dr. Sample was missing. And they said he was one who set by an and they gave him such a way that the fire would not burn the bench as the way the was until one organized the event. But unfortunately for the vice chancellor, when he was threatening that he would see the end of the Sample that the Sample was going to see, people heard. They heard. And that is how the moment they started trying to form an opinion of the Sample started. And the issue that is what Sample was mentioned. Because it is a very stupid thing to imagine that the university lecturer would ask the because he has been sacked. But there's no legal basis for the sacking of the person. But in a new Cameroons, I don't have because it's one of them. So that is where you see and so with students are also very careful. Anybody raising an issue now will become a separatist. So many people are ready to forgo their rights. I've spoken to people on the ground. People are ready to forgo their rights to associate them, especially because our own South African brothers, for themselves francophones, are ready to give anybody in their way, and they are not hiding their allegiance to coloniality.
Thank you. Comrade Charles Agbo, your hand is up.
Yes, thank you. I just want to add this what I remember when we were the first batch conference. That's how it was. that now
Okay, thank you, Comrade Agbo. That is very true. Like I showed before, this thing was in the making. Our education was one of the things they were supposed to destroy. It was a long-term plan because when you destroy education, it's not. In fact, the letter did state that they had to go after the next generation, and they also said they were going to use the French cultural centers and French programs. On back then, I think there was only radio, teaching the schools through radio, teaching French, and all those programs. So we had an overwhelming amount of French in our ears. But again, maybe we cannot discuss some of the things we have to do, but I think we have agreed that we have to find a way of holding some of the perpetrators of this thing accountable. I think if we just sit quietly, or if we sit quiet, people like the Vice Chancellor and all these Alembo and all these people who are for, if you can't beat the system, join it. By the time they are very cowards. They are cowards. They are very once one of them is held accountable, I think the others are going to toe the line, in terms of preserving or not wanting to be used. But again, those are things that we cannot discuss strategies publicly. So, Doctor.
Mr. Moderator.
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Moderator. I think that is a wonderful but I think that at our own level, we should be able to make those people ashamed of it. Because we are a civil society organization. We are a civil society platform. Who are promoting public and affect these events. Because in the past, whenever you see my hands are tied, I cannot do this, or I don't know what to do, blah, 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 blah. So the money is good. If you are ready to go for the money, you see, our people have this culture of not doing nothing. Or how to say no, I don't want to do this. But this fight for freedom has been done by people for them. And they are usually the ones who die. When I was in prison, this point of information, when I was in prison, none of them was my teaching family. And audio, the social media, none of them were my class. I was bragging about my arrest and telling people that was going to come out not to change. And the student recorded it. The student recorded it and circulated it. And none of them went behind. And the policies of money that I had, I was supposed to pay during that time my family needed that money. None of them collected the money because he knew I was never going to come back. Collected the money and put it in his pocket. So when I came back, it was a big surprise for me. So he had to go and look for the money and put it in an envelope and invite me to his office. And call the vice team, Dr. Duke. And say, well, we have been, collecting this money. I didn't want to take his wife because, and so on and so forth. That we have been, we cannot always want our wife to know everything about our money and so on. But that was not true. No, and then had already moved that money. And he just had a misfortune that back. He had it back. Because when those things occur, those are the people who run the system. They help the French government to know what how it does, and then once they take the hammer and they go ahead and execute it this way. That's why they do it. Let me tell you something, and which is why they went into this war. This war eventually became them. Because anyone you know what is happening to the best of the best in our educational system. Such that based on students' previous academic records, you already know those who were potential scholarship candidates. And when the scholarships came out, in very few cases did you see who had excellent First, number one period is you will know your position is if you were among the best students. So they would cut maybe 1 to 10, send them to the 11 to 20, and send them to Germany and so on and so forth. My friends, everyone and brothers who went to school in Nigeria went up. Others went because corruption was going to be in, and so their parents had now paid for their education to perform. Started seeing people do this how scholarships and let it happen. So in our professional school system, for instance, the faculty of medicine, which is supposed to absorb the best, in the first 3-4 admissions, the university was very, very instrumental. The best of the best. You could see, I used to see on the admission panel, there are times that I came out really proud that we did it. And when you saw the students in class, you knew that this was the best of the best. Occasionally, the French Cameroon government would introduce those bad cases based on one woman. And when they come to school, at the end of the day, their parents have to start coming to beg the team, give him a chance, because some of them are. It's not like other universities around the world where you fail the medicine program, they send them to physiology or chemistry. So, before we went in this conflict, had gotten worse. 60% of the students that in medicine program were not from South Africa. Yet the university was in South Africa. Most of these students were students with capacity. The minister has a network of organized admissions around all the professional schools, even private medical colleges in like medical university show. The Minister of Higher Education that does admission. Such that you may apply to go to where they will send you to show to go and pay that money, go and pay higher fees. People now bribe because they want their children to go to where. So, South Cameroonians are sent to Ghana when they study French. Realize that the admission racket, both for medicine, engineering, and other courses that were professional courses, was a multi-million racket. In a year, you multiply the number of cases that came for false fake admission, that regardless of that was big million, no analysis. Strong member of the National Union of Cameroon University Lecturers, a radical. But you see, that's what I said. Money, some people see money and their soul. Their soul is destroyed. So, in the ministry, when I arrest the issue, so it is a minister's collaboration collaborating with like the hatchet man, the one that is the one that's one. That is why when we insisted that Moya should run its own admission based on the standards that it has set for itself. They agreed, but when they turned around, they changed the document and the job was signed. Prevented us from signing. And later on, completely removed that particular clause from the discussion that we are discussing. It is to tell you that until we get our
Yes, then we can. Yeah.
that actually is one of the things that is so dear to us. That's for we should explore. It's not when you sue some of these people, you're not suing for the fact that they want to be down here. But at least I want the record. 10 years on, I mean, whenever there is a dictatorship like this, and this actually struggle, people almost think that it is unlikely or unthinkable that it will ever even fall. But when it falls, the world becomes true, it becomes inevitable. And it always looks like it was always inevitable. For me, I think this is inevitable. But I don't want 5 years on, 10 years on, somebody saying using ignorance as an excuse. Let us write those letters. Let's begin to hold them accountable from that perspective. So tomorrow you don't tell us, you don't use ignorance as an excuse. So that will be one thing that we can at least, at a minimum, do now. And then go on that one. That's what I meant. That's what I meant. Accountable for that.
Thank you, Dr. Edmond. I think that's information which we could definitely work on. Dr. Fontaine, for one, is in touch with a lot of the operatives there in the University of Boya, and we will follow up on that. So I think we have had a full day in the town hall today. We don't want, it's Saturday and a lot of people have other commitments. I just want to end this session by requesting. I think we have not remembered a lot of the commitments which we have made in previous town halls. I'm just putting up. There's an appeal. A lot of we've heard a lot of stories and dire needs for some of our refugees, some of our internally displaced, and especially for our detainees. They are totally neglected. We saw demonstrations in Nigeria by some of the refugees who want to go to Abuja to the UNHCR and report some of the molesting, corruptions, harassments, extortions, no food. Our internally displaced people too are sick. Our detainees on the dropping rations they have. Again, the Southern Cameroon Civil Society Network has people who are willing, but they can only do as much as they can get support. It's very tragic. We are also trying to help the welfare department of our defense fighters. We can say all what we want to say about adding firepower on the ground. These guys don't have the material. They have the will to put their lives on the line. They are determined. They know there is no turning back. They are being haunted like wild animals by La République. We need to support them. So if we're supporting them through the welfare program, if we are supporting our IDPs, if we are supporting our detainees, if we are supporting our refugees, please, on the screen is the website. We want to remind our people, Southern Cameroon Civil Society Network.org, sccsnetwork.org. Please find it in yourselves, in your heart, a little donation, anything you can support, anything you can give. When you submit, if you want it to go to a specific cause, you can mention it in the notes section before you forward. The website is working very well. You can, from Europe, from America, anywhere in the world. We are appealing. Some of our refugees are now committing suicide. We've seen the videos. The last one, a refugee who couldn't take it anymore, and he hung himself. These things are real. Like we heard the minister said, there is a lot of trauma, in the minds of these people. they are destitute. They give up on life. They do what they can. They are being harassed. They are being chased out of communities. These are our people, you know. The minister just brought to our attention what we should expect after this war. It's a nightmare. So whatever we can do to start alleviating some of those problems, please let's support the Southern Cameroon Civil Society Network. That's doing a great job. We've helped a lot of farmers in Akwa Ibom. They are about doing their harvesting, and so they can sell and help themselves. Some of those who are in businesses are doing well. That's all good news. Some of our detainees who were sick, they've been able to pay some bills. And we also thank the Southern Cameroon's Medical Society that have greatly intervened with very expensive treatments, things like cancer and stuff, to save our people's lives. We are very grateful for that. So we would end by putting out this appeal and this website to support the Civil Society Network to continue the humanitarian. We heard the minister said they put humanitarian in the forefront of their appeals, including to the U.S. So let's support the humanitarian efforts to help our people. So with that, it's almost 9:15 Amber time. I will call on somebody to move a motion for us to end this very educative and informative session of the Southern Cameroon Civil Society Town Hall. If someone could move a motion, before you do that, let me see the dates for our next town hall. That would be, September 4th. Isn't that Labor Day weekend? Labor Day is September 6th, first Monday of September. Well, hopefully we'll be around. Oh, yeah, just in the US, plus this Delta variant, hopefully people will not travel a lot. So yes, we'll meet September 4th. If somebody could move a motion for us to end this session. Don't forget, if anybody has any guests who can help educate us and bring us up to speed and contribute something and advocate for us, please reach out to the Secretariat and we'll be happy to host them. So could somebody move a motion for us to close at 9:15 Amber time? Yes. Okay, somebody to second. The Secretariat can still second. Okay. All right.